What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. Hope everybody's staying safe out there. And I'm going to do a quarterback tier ranker. For those of you that do not know what this is, I did one of these last year. It's popular on YouTube where people rank things in tiers. In this case, it's quarterbacks. If you look to I think it's my right, you're going to see elite, great, good, average, and below average. And I'm going to rank the quarterbacks and put them in each, section, if you will. And I'm going to try to put them in order of where I would have them left to right. This was suggested to me on Instagram, and I'm going to let you guys suggest a lot more of my videos on there. You can follow me on Instagram right there at Entertainer. And it was suggested by Pico, who said ranking 1 to 32 ranking of starting quarterbacks, including new rookies. In addition to that, Cushman, one of my best, he said, maybe tier list of certain position groups. I'll think of something better, though. You didn't have to. You did a great job. So thank you to both of you guys for giving me the suggestion. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm obviously going to get rid of all the backup quarterbacks. So that means you, Cam Newton, you're going into below average. The same could be said for, I know there's a bunch on here. Mitch Trubisky, you're going into below average. Joe Flacco, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I'll try to rank them accordingly. Let's get rid of him. Taysom Hill. And I'm sure there'll be a couple more, but that'll wrap it up for now. And then we'll get to the rest of Marcus Mariota. There's another one. Let's put him there. But I'm going to try to do this as fast as I can along with Josh Rosen. Let's get rid of you. Put you around here, I guess. So, let's jump right into it. The first guy on the list is Josh Allen. I'm going to shrink myself down just a tad so you guys can see the whole list. But the first guy on the list is Josh Allen, obviously the Buffalo Bills quarterback. Kind of a controversial pick probably for some. I think I'm a little higher on him than most. I'm going to put him in the good category. I think he's good. I think he's got some upside. We'll have to wait and see how it pans out this year. Obviously, last year he brought the Buffalo Bills to the playoffs. He's got a huge arm. He's mobile. He's kind of similar to what Cam Newton was early on. Not to say he's as good as Newton. He's not. But he definitely has a strong arm. They added a weapon with Stephon Diggs. Improved offensive line. I think he could have a breakout year this year, but we'll see. Tom Brady, a lot of people are going to say he's got to be a leader great. I'm actually going to put him near the top end of the good category. I still think he's got some gas left in the tank, but he's 43 years old. He's got a great offensive mind with Bruce Arians. He's definitely got more weapons than he had in New England, and we'll see what he can dig up there for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but he's going to be near the top end of the good for me. Drew Brees is going to probably be near the back end of the great. Again, kind of like Brees, he's still up there in age. He has a great support system there in New Orleans, and I think he'll put up good stats. You look at Bridgewater last year. Bridgewater played great when he went down with an injury, and it's why Bridgewater got paid, so it's why he's probably not elite for me. I think he's in an ideal situation, but he's been much more efficient over the last 3 years of his career due to that. And Bridgewater, we just mentioned, he's now a starting quarterback in Carolina. I'm going to put him in the average tier. I think he benefited greatly in New Orleans, and he got paid handsomely for it. But I look at Carolina. Yes, they have decent receivers. I don't think he's going to prosper there. I could be wrong. I'm gonna have him in that average tier. Next up, Jacoby Brissett. He's going to be below average because he's not starting. Now we got Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, I am actually going to put, even though he's a rookie, I am going to put him in the average tier. We'll have to wait and see what he's got. Obviously, he goes to Cincinnati. They don't have a lot around him, but he's got a lot. He's got a lot of potential. Obviously, number one overall pick. I will go with Joe Burrow in the average tier. Same can be said for Derek Carr. I'll put him probably above both these guys, but he's still in the average for me. Let me move Bridgewater here. He's still in the average category for me, but a quarterback with some upside. He's shown it in the past. Raiders had a good year a couple of years ago. He put up good numbers, actually. I was a little bit surprised by it pretty recently, but I'm still not in love with him. Definitely doesn't have the upside of some of these other guys. Kirk Cousins, I am going to put in that good tier. I think he's one of the more underrated quarterbacks in the league. I think a lot of people don't realize how good he was last year statistically. Matter of fact, he was probably one of the top 4 or 5 quarterbacks at one point. I think he had like 23 touchdowns and 3 picks, I think around like week 10 or 11. He kind of definitely shot up after that New York Giants game. Dak Prescott's another guy. To me, him and Cousins are very close. I'll put Dak slightly above him. I hate admitting that as a Giants fan, but he has the most 20-yard and 40-yard completions last year. Granted, he's in a great system, but you're going to notice that for a lot of these quarterbacks. He's got a great support system with the wide receivers, the offensive line, everything else, but he's won since he's entered the league, and he's earned some respect. Dalton, obviously, a backup. He's one of the better backups. I think he could succeed in Dallas if given the opportunity. Sam Darnold, I'm going to put in the good tier. He's going to be towards the back end. I don't think he gets enough credit in the sense that they have not given him a good support system at all. They finally improved that offensive line by investing in some offensive linemen in the draft and free agency, and we'll see how it goes for Darnold. Obviously, they brought in Perryman as a weapon as well, and they brought in Mims in the draft. Foles, I'm gonna go average. He's kind of a guy that whenever he's left Philadelphia, he's never really performed that well. But I'll give him some respect because he won a Super Bowl. I'll put him in the average tier. Jared Goff, I'm going to put right after Cousins. I still got to give him some respect. He's been to a Super Bowl. I know he was mediocre last year. I know he's got a great mind with McVay. And both Darnold and Allen could definitely pass him this year. But right now, I'd have to have Goff above him. In terms of below average, I'm going to have Haskins at the high end of the below average, but I can't have many higher. I know he finished the year strong, and if you're a Redskin fan, you're optimistic. He lost some weight. He stopped eating the donuts. But and he's got a good arm. He's a guy that I think could be a good prospect, but they didn't really improve their offensive line, not nearly enough. They don't have any great weapons outside of Scary Terry, and I'd be surprised if Haskins has that good of a year. Herbert, I'm going to put in the below average as well as of now. Don't kill me, Chris, if you're watching, a big Charger fan. He's still young, hasn't played yet. I got to see what we got. A lot of people point to the film. They say he's got a lot to work on. He may not even start this year, but Tyrod Taylor is not on this list. So I can't rank him, but I do like Herbert. I think he could have an upside, but I'm not ready to crown him any better than, high end below average yet. Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm going to put Jimmy right above Jared Goff, right after Kirk Cousins. A lot of people don't realize, I think, how good of a statistical year he had last year. He had one of the better quarterback ratings, one of the better QBRs. Definitely has a great coach. You saw what he did with Matt Ryan when Matt Ryan won the MVP. But yeah, I got to give Garoppolo some credit. I'm not in love with him, but I got to give him some credit. Lamar Jackson, obviously, is going to be an elite. Lamar Jackson won the MVP last year. Let me move this up just a tad. He won the MVP last year, so you got to give him credit for that. He's a great modern day quarterback. He could run, he could pass. I think he ran for 1,400 yards. Will he have long-term success? Well, that remains to be seen. But I think he'll definitely be one of the better quarterbacks in the league for at least the first 7 or 8 years of his career. Plays in a great system there in Baltimore. Daniel Jones, we're going to skip. We'll get back to him. Kyler Murray. I'm going to put Murray right in front of Darnold, right after Josh Allen. Definitely could be a quarterback this year that may break onto the scene, but we got to wait and see what we got with him. I know he won the Rookie of the Year last year, had 20 touchdowns, 12 picks. He plays in the air raid offense, which fits his skill set. It's why Cliff Kingsbury took him number 1 overall, when a lot of people probably thought he should have went with Bosa. But he's got the speed, he's got the arm strength, and he had the success in college. So I do think he could be very good this year. I'm still kind of on the fence with Kyler Murray. I don't think I'm as high on him as some other people, but he could be a good quarterback. Next up, Drew Lock. I'm going to put Drew Lock at the very high end of average. Played, I think, 5 starts last year. I think he went 4-1. The Broncos, I believe, went like 3-8 when he didn't start. He's got a cannon for an arm. Everybody knows that. The Broncos went out there. They got him weapons, including Jerry Jeudy. That should only help his growth. Another guy that could really take a big step forward this year, but I got to see more evidence before I'm willing to rank him higher. Pat Mahomes, obviously an elite. I'm actually going to put him as the number 1, even though Jackson won the MVP last year. Pat Mahomes won the Super Bowl. He's got a golden arm. The guy threw 50 touchdowns in his second year. Dealt with an injury last year. He's got the best offensive mind in football as a head coach. I only expect better things from Mahomes going forward, and I think he'll win the MVP this year. Baker Mayfield, he's an interesting case. I'm actually going to put him below Josh Allen, but before Kyler Murray. But I think they're all bunched together. Mayfield may very well have a big year this year, though. He has no excuses not to. There's not many quarterbacks with a better situation in terms of weapons. You look there with, they obviously brought in Hooper. They got Njoku. They've got Odell Beckham. They got Jarvis Landry. They've got good running backs. And the most important thing for Mayfield is they improved the offensive line. They went out there. They got him Conklin. They also drafted a tackle in the first round. So he really has no excuses this year not to prosper. And I would be surprised if he doesn't. But if he doesn't, then you got to seriously start to question the legitimacy of Baker Mayfield. Gardner Minshew, I'm going to put right below Drew Lock, but he actually surprisingly had very good stats considering his situation with the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll see if he can build off it this year, but I think he could be in a position, unfortunately for himself, to be replaced, because if they finish with the worst record, which I personally think they're at least going to be in consideration for that due to the fact that they got rid of their entire defense, they very well could draft Trevor Lawrence. And if they do that, obviously Minshew will be without a job. But he played well last year. He was second. I think he was second in the league in terms of deep ball accuracy, only behind Daniel Jones by the chart that I pulled up a couple of days ago. So I'll give Minshew some respect. Aaron Rodgers, great. I'm going to actually put him slightly above Brees. They're right neck and neck for me. I think a lot of people say that Aaron Rodgers is done. I don't see it. He's not what he was. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was what Pat Mahomes is now, but he's still one of the top 5 or 6 quarterbacks in the league as far as I'm concerned. The guy has thrown 51 touchdowns and 6 interceptions over his last 2 years combined. Led his team to a 13-3 record last year, and I know they run the ball effectively, but people say he's done. The guy is like an 8-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. I still give him some respect. Ben Roethlisberger. I am going to put Ben Roethlisberger. Yeah, I'll put him right above Baker Mayfield, right after Josh Allen. Ben Roethlisberger, we'll see what he's got. Obviously, he's injury prone. He got hurt last year. He's been injury prone throughout his entire career. Missing time. Never missed an entire year like he did last year. But we'll see what he's got. He's proven people wrong before. I remember before he really started to prosper in terms of statistics, people thought he was starting to regress before Antonio Brown broke out and everything else. We'll see if Ben's got anything left in the tank this year, but just due to the history of him proving people wrong in the past, the fact that the Steelers have a pretty good support system there, I think he could at least be around league average. Phillip Rivers to me is right around the same. I will put him just above Ben. And another guy with a great situation there with the Indianapolis Colts. If he can't do it this year, you have to start to question whether or not he should still be in the league. They got a great offensive line. They drafted him 2 weapons in the first and second round of the draft. Matt Ryan, I'll put him right before Jared Goff, right after Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah, I think that's right around where he belongs. Maybe you could put him a little higher. Another guy with a horrible team, horrible defense, still puts up good numbers, but he's never been able to get it done in the big game. But you got to give him some respect. I'll put him in that good tier. Kind of the type of guy like Matt Stafford. When he got paid, he really didn't do much. I'm actually going to put Stafford right behind Goff, but in that range, I think Stafford, Goff, Ryan, you could bunch them all together in that good category, right in the middle of it. But him and Matt Ryan are very similar, guys that have put up good numbers, but never really had much success in terms of winning outside of the 1 year where Matt Ryan went to, I shouldn't say that. The Falcons have definitely gone to the playoffs. Never was really much success in the playoffs outside of that Super Bowl run, but Matt Ryan's still a very good quarterback. Tannehill, I got to put in the good tier just for the fact that I think he led the league last year in QB rating. But I am not a huge fan of Tannehill. I don't believe in him as much as some others. But I have to give him a little respect. I'll put him just above Baker Mayfield. He did have a very strong year last year when he finally had a support system with a ground game and a defense. I'll put him in that good tier near the back end of it, but I'll give him some credit for sure. Tua Tagovailoa. I'm actually going to put Tua in the average tier. For now, I'll put him right below Drew Lock. I got to see him play on the football field. Got to see him healthy. Matter of fact, let me move Burrow up as well. I put Burrow and I'm going to put Burrow at the top of this. I do think Burrow has a really high ceiling, along with Tua. I might even put Lock third. Let's put Lock third. But I like all 3 of those guys. I think all 3 of them could break onto the scene this year. Just my opinion. Next up, let's go to Deshaun Watson. I'll put Watson in the great. Now, they definitely hurt him, and you know what? I can't do that. You know what? I'm going to move Brady up to the great. I'll move Brady up to the great. I can't put Watson above Brady. Yeah, I will, but I got to put Brady in the same tier. I like Watson's upside. I really do. But he's never really been given a great support system. They got rid of Watson. I think he could struggle this year statistically. Not Watson, right? They got rid of Watson. No, they got rid of Hopkins, his best weapon. So we'll see what he does. I think he's always been at a disadvantage. The Texans have had a horrible offensive line, but we'll see what he could do this year. Carson Wentz, I'll put at the very top of good. I think he belongs there. When he's healthy, he's definitely a top 6, 7, 8 quarterback, injury prone, but I'll put him right there. He's in the discussion with all those guys in the back end of the great category as well. Russell Wilson is clearly elite. I'll actually have him second. Year in and year out, he produces. He just has with the Seattle Seahawks. He's proved a lot of doubters wrong, and he's as consistent as they come. Great quarterback. Jameis Winston's a guy we forgot. He's a backup. I'll put him right after Justin Herbert for now. And then Daniel Jones, where does he fit on this list? Is he elite? No. He's only played 12 starts. Is he great? No. I mean, you look at the guys in the great tier. Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl. He's won MVPs. Drew Brees, same thing. Actually, Brees never won an MVP, but he's won a Super Bowl. Brady, Watson's got a tremendous ability. He's not at the top end of the good either. As Giant fans, we got to be unbiased. You cannot say he's in the same category yet as a Carson Wentz or Dak Prescott or even a Kirk Cousins yet. Garoppolo's been to a Super Bowl. Matt Ryan's been to a Super Bowl. Goff's been to a Super Bowl. Stafford, Allen, I think that's where he starts to enter the discussion. I am going to put him, based off of last year and upside, I will put him in between Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray at the back end of good, trending upwards. I think a lot of those guys in the back end of good could very well break into the top end of good or even the back end of great this year. Guys like Murray, guys like Jones, even Mayfield with the better supporting cast. Sam Darnold may take a huge step forward this year. He better. Could be in trouble. But that's the way I see it. That's where I'd rank all the quarterbacks. 3 in the elite, 4 in the great, a bunch in the good, average, and the below average is mainly rookies and backup quarterbacks. So there you have it. As always, guys, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe. Drop a comment. Maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.